City Attorney's Impartial Analysis of Measure I. Measure I was placed on the ballot by the City Council of the City of Santa Clara City to propose issuance of up to $400 million in general obligation bonds. Bond proceeds would be used to fund improvements to city infrastructure and facilities per an attached expenditure plan that includes procedures for amendments. Bonds would be repaid by new property taxes. The measure includes audit requirements, citizen committee oversight, and other transparency and accountability provisions. Financial terms. If approved, bonds will be issued in phases beginning in 2025. The principal amount of each phase will correspond to the projected costs of improvements proposed for construction at that time. City expects to issue the full $400 million of bonds by 2030. Interest rates for each bond issue will be determined by the market, but cannot exceed 12%. Assuming the full $400 million is issued, using a projected interest rate between 4 and 5%, City estimates required bond debt service payments would total approximately $736,890,700. Bonds would be repaid using revenues from an annual property tax levied against all non-exempt taxable property within the city. The total tax levied each year would equal the amount necessary to make bond payments that year. Taxes would be levied on each parcel of taxable property based on its assessed value established by the county assessor. City estimates the average annual tax rate necessary to repay all bonds over the term of the bonds would be approximately $19 per $100,000 of assessed value. For the median assessed single-family home value in Santa Clara, $674,000, this equates to a tax of approximately $128 per year. Use of bond proceeds. By law, bond proceeds must be used for the construction, reconstruction, rehabilitation, or replacement of public infrastructure. Bond funds cannot be used for city salaries, benefits, or operational expenses except project administration costs, capped at 5% of bond proceeds. Measure I includes an expenditure plan identifying project categories and specific projects to be constructed. Project categories include streets and transportation, fire stations and emergency response, police facilities, parks, libraries, senior center and aquatics facilities, storm drain system improvements, historic buildings and beautification. The expenditure plan can be amended, but only with input from the Citizens Oversight Committee and with unanimous City Council approval. Bond proceeds cannot be used for improvements to Levi's Stadium, improvements within 0.5 miles of Levi's Stadium, with limited exceptions, or to benefit any professional sports team. Transparency and accountability measures. Additional provisions intended to improve transparency and accountability for bond expenditures include annual audits, a citizens committee that oversees bond measure compliance, and project implementation reporting and notice requirements. Voter requirements. By law, Measure I passes if approved by at least 66.7% of voters participating. If Proposition 5 is approved statewide, this approval threshold lowers to 55%. A yes vote on Measure I supports issuance of the bonds. A no vote on Measure I opposes issuance of the bonds. This summary provides City Attorney's impartial analysis of Measure I. Please refer to the full text of the measure for details. Glenn R. Googans, City Attorney.